Solving radical equations. So every equation, the way you solve it is you do inverse functions. The opposite of adding is subtracting. The opposite of multiplying is dividing. Well, the inverse of an nth root is a power. So I use n because it's going to change depending on the problem that you have. In this case, we have to solve the square root of 70 or 7x equals 21. The index or the root here, even if nothing's written, is a 2, so that's important to know. So the inverse is to just raise it to a power that's equal to the index. If the index is 2, or the root is 2, we have to raise this to the power of 2. So the square root gets squared, those simplify. Another way of thinking about this is a square root can be written as a fractional exponent, and now we're raising it to the second power. So those exponents essentially get multiplied. So that's why they go away. So we're left 7x equals 21 squared. That's 441. And now we're just solving. Divide by 7. So x equals 63. And that's how we get that answer. So we're going to do 3 examples. This is the first one. Second example. This is tricky. So if you look at this, you will most likely default into, okay, let me do inverse functions. And you see it's a square root. So you immediately start squaring and doing all your work. That's fine. You'll do it. You'll get an answer. The problem is there's no solution. It doesn't matter what math you do. There is no answer to this problem. The reason is all because of concepts. So what I mean by that is the square root of a number defaults into a positive answer. Because this original problem is equal to a negative, you can look at the problem and immediately recognize this is not going to have a solution because the primary root is going to be positive. You have an equation that shows a radical is equal to a negative numerical value, which isn't going to work. So that's a trick. Recognize that as you're doing them. And then we'll do one more problem. So this is not a trick. This is the cube root of 30x is equal to negative 6. So what I just said is that this cannot equal a negative number. However, this is a cube root. So you can have the cube root equal to a negative. So that's the difference. Those are all rules. So odd indices, they can result in negative numbers. Even ones cannot. So we solve this. The cube root, we raise it to the third power. That's going to simplify on the left side and give us 30x. And now we have negative 6 to the third power. And that's going to give us negative 216. And now we have to divide that by 30, which is going to give us negative 7.2. So as a decimal form, it would be that, or negative 7 2/10, which is negative 7 1/5. So depending on how you need to write your answer, that's what you would get.